What's wrong?
Well, it's not, my plumbing isn't where I need it. This is a floating sink. And I wanted this to be at a normal cabinet height, so like 34 inches. So that when I have my countertop on, it's like 36 inches. And so when I put my plumbing here, so I have my trap there. So even if I tucked it straight to the bottom of that, boy, that's really low. That's only 31 inches off the floor. So I'm gonna have to raise that pipe. Like that's, the old sink was much lower, that antique sink. What are we off the floor here? 19 inches? Yeah, 19 inches. That's kind of a normal older height. And I would always recommend going 21 inches. Now I do have a bar here holding my plumbing together here. So I'm gonna have to go a bit higher. I mean, even if I went 25 inches, I'd be better off. You know, that's why you should always have your cabinet ahead of time so you can establish this at the rough end. But I honestly thought this was gonna work. Because even, let me see what this is really, the bottom of this. Yeah, I mean, you're only 14.5 inches off the floor. Trap really becomes a problem. Now, it's super tempting to just angle a piece up and bring it out, but that is a real problematic way of doing it because your trap weir, where the vent is connected, is not gonna be right. So if there's ever any type of hair clog or anything like that, you could be preventing air from getting into the drain system and then causing a major clog. So you really can't just angle it up. I mean, you can get away with it. It could work for a while, but then eventually you're gonna have a clog of some sort. So let's go ahead and cut this out. So let's find my stud. Yeah, so we'll go right in the center of my stud. There's no difference between the work of a small hole to a big hole. It really makes absolutely no difference. So might as well give yourself some room. Okay, so we're gonna cut out with our oscillating tool.
Take these off here.
This one here. Yeah. Come on. This is why I like these guys. So these are Pro crimp rings. So they have the right spacer on there and nothing moves around. So now you can just get your crimpers on there, press and done. Makes it a lot easier rather than this sliding out because you need to have a little bit of pex on the outside of your fitting, and that's what these caps do. They hold it right at the right location. Okay, so we have a little bit of flex. We can push this up and push this down a little bit, which is helpful. If you don't have that, you're gonna wanna get a coupling. So this coupling has a little stopper in it. So when you slide this in, it basically stops it. A repair coupling will allow you to slide it down and go over the entire thing. So if you don't have movement, like there's no movement in this vent, but I do have movement. It's not like easy movement, but it's gonna allow me to push this up into the fitting. Otherwise, with a repair coupling, you could put it up, glue it, and then put it in place and pull it down. The other way you could do it is actually just use a Fernco on the vent. You can definitely do that as well. So, but since we have movement, we're in good shape. Now we can go ahead and glue. Most of you are not gonna have this, but I did run 2-inch on here. So we'll go ahead and get this fitting on first. Yeah, we can go 20, we'll go 23 inches. That'll be plenty. Inch and 3/4. Okay, so we'll kind of glue this all together here. So having that little bit of movement was key here. And again, if I didn't have that, then I can just get a repair coupling, and that'll allow me to slide this down over the pipe. But now, got this raised, 23 1/4, good enough. The other thing we'll want to do is a little short piece to connect this. I mean, this is a very time-consuming thing when you don't plan ahead on things. And this is like one of the things as a contractor you end up getting caught into. I mean, you know, you really should have planned it out at the beginning. And a lot of times I always measure this when I have everything removed. And if it is 19 inches, I usually try to make it like 21 inches. But, you know, it really depends on the cabinet you're ordering. But it's also really hard to go and charge a client to change this out when you didn't really explain that this could be an issue. That's one thing I'm getting better at these days, is to add additional items to my quote saying, hey, if the plumbing's not in the right spot, it might be a couple $100 to adjust things to fit your cabinet, things like that. But if you can try to coach your clients into knowing exactly what they want and having that ahead of time, then this will eliminate some of this deal. But I mean, this is about an hour. I mean, by the time I do the drywall and repainting, I mean, you've got 3-4 hours wrapped into this. But this really is the ultimate way to go. There really is no shortcut, because it's just going to bite you later on. If you get a clog later on, it's because you didn't have the vent properly attached. Okay, so we can just use this as a template. All right, so that's it. Oh, you know what? We'll go ahead and caulk the back of this. That's always an area that gets kind of crummy.